so shiri ye, namo dhamma je so ha, namo manju shiri ye, namo so shiri ye, namo dhamma je so ha, namo manju shiri ye, namo so shiri ye, namo dhamma je so ha. Ye chudan tu ye chudan la, janchu padu tani gyabsu chi, dage chinye jibe tsonan ji, rola benche sangye rupa sho. Chudan tu ye chudan la, janchu padu tani gyabsu chi, dage chinye jibe tsonan ji, rola benche sangye rupa sho. Chudan tu ye chudan la, janchu padu tani gyabsu chi, dage chinye jibe tsonan ji, rola benche sangye rupa sho. Shi bigi shushin me do zhang, ri ra ling shi ni de jian ban ji, san ji shi do me de po ye, do ge nan da xin la jie ba shu. Guru ran da men da la zang ge ya da ya mi.
더 너무 동화진다 신경제다 이제 다기 챈데 마마지 거딩치 보셔다 마마지 같이 좀 마시 발라 단지 무셔 많이 진지지 만드는 대화인데 저 방도 고로 지금 등에 봐 힘용하네 이가 끼지 좀 문도 진지지 만드는 대화의 대주기와 필수적 같은 점 demba chichu demba tabe shabu tida shini lama laye shinji lado so nawa tuzo neba chine chamba goya is.
Please adjust your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Arochana. Think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but numberless times. All sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not even want a small suffering, due to mistakenly engaging with objects of adoptions and abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have excellent happiness and the causes of excellent happiness that are virtues. May they have excellent happiness and its causes. I'll cause them to have excellent happiness and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
동화진아 신경제다 통치 등에다 등이 좀 어디 와다 전에 지금 저와 지금 좀 와다 그래서 기다 신이 너무나 이시 어디서 내가지고 문제 보이.
Next, we generate compassion towards all suffering mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all mother sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May they be free from all suffering and its causes. I'll cause them to be free from all suffering and its causes. Lama deity, please bless me to be able to do so.
어디지 동화진아 신경제다 통치 고와등에 속을 동화를 두이 코스나 부분도 그녀랑 야라 보데 대디네 가서 양다가 두게 선지지 공부하는 게 이거 대답은 이거 수나요 양다가 두게 선지를 여기 됐는지 transitive 양다 선지지 공부하는 거지 찌는 게 더가 샤 어떻게 내가지고 정리시 보이지.
Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms? I should take the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms. Even though I should take the responsibility, I do not have the ability to place them in the state of perfect, complete enlightenment now. Who has such abilities? Only those perfect, complete Buddha have the abilities to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment.
어디에 있어? 다분히랑 이 지단 뭐 다들 건도야 모두가랑 이 지구 동안 그래서 동안에 주선 보였어.
Next, we meditate on the emptiness of. Next, we meditate on the meaning of the emptiness for a short while. The self and the aggregates neither exist as inherently one nor inherently different. Thus, is empty of inherent existence.
어디에 있어? 성제 탕제에 대한 성제지 공부해 대체로 또 당비 취생이 나네 책임도 중에 되게 성제다 배워도 자도서 그냥 지셨어.
Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the holy teaching and practice properly in order to benefit sentient beings.
당어서 가서 상대들이 난가게 쉐이크업 쉐버들와 쉐이크업 쉐버들 지다가데 소대와 가데 문지데 샤스 에다 진비 뒤다서 스리 땅에 샤바스 인세 어디셔로가 진짜 들마 쉐이스.
So to continue where we left off, then the outline is explaining the occasion for permission and prohibition. Explaining the occasion for permission and prohibition, and under this outline is verse 42. It says, but if I'm unable to do these when involved in fear or celebrations and the like, then I should relax. Thus, it has been taught that at times of giving you may be indifferent to ethics.
어디 걸로 보스나 다 간다 가서 난가게 샤워디 쉬어라 되게 쉬고요 되게 쉬어리 다 간다 랑게 소라 네비 와 소라 네버 지야게 다 두드다 다다 생기 나서 보다 다 메인지 배 전부다 추스 중앙식이 내가 여러 랑게 소라 네게 단다 두드다 생기 랑치라서 되다 중앙식이라서 나서 보다 다 군조 최발라서 가대 와 군조라 최발라서 가대 대이 체라비다 생기지 돼 소단데 다 유생지 줘봐 힘도 좋아 다 랑게 가대도 소든 제부구래 되이나 다 제문이 봐 주나 다 이런 게 찌든이 지내 나와 해서 간다 기대셔 좋아 그래서 제 마트나 간다 기대셔 나와 해서 와 넘버에 얘가는 로드 뮤직은 돌에 다 도도마 돌에 가서나 다 제일 마셔 로드 뮤직은 와 제일 마셔.
So the meaning of this verse is, but if I am unable to do subtle activities of body and mind, so those subtle activities of body and mind are what we have, are those that we have to do. But if you are unable to do, then due to being involved in fear of harm to my life, such as the poisonous snakes, the harm comes from the poisonous snake, come from the tiger, lion, or the harm comes from or caused by the four elements. So if involved in fear of such harm to my life, and celebrations of offering to the three jewels and the like, or purposes of sentient beings, they are far greater than investigating my mind, then I should relax. Then I should relax.
샤운디그에서 가서 전화 가서 띵인지 공부하다 이 샤워를 앞에 좀 구글에 해서 나가다 이제 띵인지 와 이제 띵인지 공부하다 이 샤워를 좀 구글에 해서 좀 구글에 달래 담보하러 와 달래 담보하러 간다 좀 구글에 되나 다 간다 랑게 솔라니 두든지 발라서 다 두서 미싱도 와다 대체 가서 두마 대체 내우리 다 나와 내 간다 나와 요리에서 다 간다 찌띵인지 공부하다 기 샤워를 화장 좀 휴청부 지야 돼봐 제마도나 나와 요리에서 뭐 된다 로와 단 네가서 해나 요로와 네가서 해나 요로와 뭐 데칼리 치어서다 사만 뒤지를 제도 말와 뭐 딘디선자 내 간다 강에서 다 두줄라서 봤더니 강에 어디 뜻을 간다 다 파수소 다시 적으러 와 그거야 저거 뜻띵인지 좀 받아 개월 앞에 화장 공부 지야 돼 네 요거 말와 뭐디 요거 딘디선자 다들 대가서 나와 요리에서
So it's under the outlines of explaining the occasion for permissions and prohibition, right? So in general, as a beginners, then we need to put effort in engaging in virtuous activities, in cultivating concentration and so forth. But if you are unable to do so due to those fear of harm to our life, as mentioned just now, poisonous snake, tiger, lion, and harm caused by four elements and so forth. If there is such harm present, then they are exception or they are permission.
다들 고야 나와도 가르치는 로드 메시빈 돌에 진비 뒤에서 치리디 따면서 샤오 오세요. 다들 얘네 때가 그래. 간다. 맞어. 진발 빼냐네 휴천부 진발 냐네 하고 집에 가라. 대다 뒷념도 맞어. 치리 냐네 대배 휴천부 제투고서는 자원이 제투고 말해. 대 진비 냐네 휴천부 집에 공세 등에도 집에 가네. 진비 냐네 제시비 가서 다 치리 냐네 대 대래 하바래 대 치리 냐네 대 진발에 치리 냐네 대 하바래 대 이나 파시도 가서 고린 시에서로 완전히 고리를 받이 시에서리 그 당부 신비 냐네 차고 해서 그러와 대니가 뒤치도 제도 말해 해서 그러와 대니가 뒤치도 제도 말해 해서 신비 냐네 거도 줘봐다 아 수린 냐네 니가 거도 줘 뒤지라 가서 내 당부 써니는 제도 말해 해서 제도 말해 근데 순간 내가 간다 수리대 냐네도 봐 당하는 시간은 그래 해서 이 다른 파샤 냐네 좀 봐도 뒤로 그래서 냐네 좀 뒤로 버리는
So because the teachings of Ashamati Sutra says, thus at the time of giving, we draw ethics and act indifferently. So at the time of giving, we draw ethics and act indifferently. Meaning is, so when we are engaging in the practice of generosity, so when the intentions of giving is manifesting. So from within these manifestations of intentions of giving, so we are unable to cause the morality to manifest at the same time as well. So even though when we talk about six perfections, we talk about the order of six perfections, we talk about the order of six perfections from the perspective of superiority. So even though morality is superior to generosity, however, we are unable to cause two to manifest together. So when we are engaging in the practice, when we strongly engaging in the practice of generosity, then at the same time morality cannot manifest. We are unable to do so. Also, we are also unable to do two or to cause these two to manifest at the same time. So when at that time, then we should act indifferently.
란치 고릴라 개발이 했을 근데 제거야 돼. 란치 고릴라 냐네 쳐야 돼 개발. 란치 고릴라 개발하시는 데 린지를 조금 된다대. 지수 80도 냐네 되면서 린지에도 같이 지셔서래. 지금 80도 되면서 지인 봐. 민족으로 타라 그림 봐. 림바 소시에 와. 로다 지금 80도 들어와. 80도 되면서 냐네지 간다. 림바대 지인 용한테 제바지당 민족으로 봐. 타라지 림바. 림바 송카시다 휴서를 이렇게 뭐 휴서를 와. 등지 송사 란치 고릴라 개발하시는 냐네 제바이나 림바비는 냐네 비다보다 참아 야고샤고 했어. 와. 담보 란치 림바라 냐네 림바 란치 림바라 되니 고림 냐네 제타와기가 마도바 다 잠다고시 제바이나 냐네 비다보 차고 말했어. 니가라면서 집이 냐네 매봐 수리 냐네 매봐 다 니가 가게는 매봐 차는 그래서 딱 간다. 딱 기발이 그니까 빼셔고 그러면 다시 주가라 제가 와.
So the meaning of withdraw at the time of giving, withdraw ethics and act differently. So so it means that the meaning of this sentence is we need to be skilled in the order of the path. So we need to be skilled in the order of the path. So when we practice the path, then we must know the gradual order by which that we need to practice. So otherwise, if we do not follow the order of the practice, then the order of the practice will not be a good quality one. Like for example, we talk about 6 perfections, and we talk about the 6 perfections in 3 orders. So the order of generation, order of superiority, and order of subtlety as well. So regarding these 3 orders I've mentioned many times already. So when we practice the path, such as 6 perfections, then we must practice sequentially. So otherwise, if we were to jump, so Kisha used the word jump. So if we were to jump, so that means if we do not follow the order, then we will not. Then our practice of generosity will not be is not good. Then our the practice of our morality will not be good as well. It will not become good as well.
다디 원래 가르치냐 도바지 레고로 다 도바데 다 신발이 나지 가서 스팅 초도 저 바리에서 무슨 민족에서 신이 들어와 신발에 스팅 초 스팅에 안다 세바 초도 저 바, 세발에 전주 초도 저 바서 같이 주셔서 와 주셔 다 근데 이나 다 신비 냥내 치네 스팅 냥내 바 다녀 샤자 고에나 다 신발에 스팅 초도 저 바리 네 스팅데 다녀서 감기진이 샤고에서 아니 도와는 레고로 도바는 없이 이 도바리 다디 도바레도 원마 자와데 레고 강기 산데 로와 강기 산데 샤sam바 게레 셰도 마산데 데티 빠이 상바이 게니 레시 두바샤 데다 나노 인레시 셰도 니가르 먼저로스 시히마이 메뉴무 데다 나네 페문저로스 어데 쇼로가 니도와 아디그마 된다 디디슈여와 아디그마 레레레와.
So we talk about the 3 orders, and one of the order is the order of orders of superiority. So orders of superiority means that the first is generosity, and then the second one is morality. So morality is superior to generosity, and patience is the third one, and patience is superior to the second one, which is morality. So the later is superior to the former. So then there is a question, or there is a doubt, thinking. So since ethics is superior, or morality is superior to generosity, so how should one be indifferent about it? Then in order to answer these questions, the answer is in the 2 following verses, verse 43 and 44. It says, I shall undertake whatever deed I have intended to do and think of doing nothing other than it. With my mind focused upon that, I should set about for the time being to accomplish it. By acting in this way, all will be done well. Otherwise, neither will be done. There will thus be no increase in the secondary affliction or non-introspection.
아디 가르쳐서는 다 간다 신발에 스팅 초도 주바리 다 스팅 다녀서 샤나 가고 우리 에세 다 도반다고 좋아. 이 도반래. 다 도반래 내 다달래고 되더라. 다 고린 인지를 간다들 넣어야 돼. 고린 예뻐 인지를 넣고 샤와 간지나 토마 네 고린 인지를 야부 소소 상당 그래서 고린 들어와. 고린 상당들 샤와 정바 고린 제레 정바 데레 셰도 무슨 바지 그래서 가서 고린만 좋아. 그러나 고린 데레 셰도 상당 무슨 바지 그래서 토마 가서 신발에 이띠 신발 또 상바 티 제나서 가서 동생에도 줘봐. 이 제나 리히 가서 신발에 두야마도 나나 고린이 제도 로가 선사 뜻이라서 봐대 리히 파 땅을 잡으래 해서 리히와 자원이네 제야 아마 샤스 티게자 말와 리히 가서 신발에 나리게 주디로와 고린이 제도 로가 선사 내 간다 리지 스링이 간다 나리데 바리 히샤나 예 림바기도 마체바이나 내 참만 내봐 차그랬어 나리게 림바데 이다고 차그랬어 이다고 차그랬어 애들 고린이가 고린아시 돈에 제바이나 나시 돈에 너무 신분냐래 맞지 봐지 스진데 하자가 니가 채워다 야와를 스타트에서 밑단에 해야다 스진 니가 채워다 야와를 신바샤는 너무 스진냐래 채스나 다 신바다 스진이가 냐래 비다고 차고만 다시 밖에 이거 말했어 근데 니가 야고 차고 말했어 왜 이래.
So the answer is in these 2 verses. So to answer these questions, so he says at the beginning of any deed that needs to be learned in a definite order, I should undertake whatever I have intended to do and think of doing nothing other than it. So it means that when we need to engage in those deeds that need to be learned in a definite order, then we must not mistaken with order. So we must not mess up with the order when we practice. So I should undertake whatever I have intended to do and think of doing nothing else other than it. So when we need to first according to the order, so we need to practice in generosity. Then we focus on the generosity, then and the morality and others. Then for temporarily, then we should be indifferent about it. So we should be indifferent. We should be indifferent about the morality when we focus on the practice of generosity. So it means that when we are engaging in the practice of generosity, when the intentions of giving is manifesting, then we should be indifferent with morality. So because we are unable to cause morality to manifest at the same time as well. So therefore, when we practice, then we should know the definite order. We should know the order properly. And then he says, with my mind focused upon the generosity that I've initiated at the beginning, I should set about for the time being to accomplish it. So for the time being, then you accomplish your practice of generosity. So by acting in this way to train the path sequentially, all will be done well. Otherwise, by reversing the order, neither the former nor the later will be fulfilled. So some people, they think that they learn about or morality is superior to generosity. So therefore, and morality is more powerful as well. So therefore, I should engage in the practice of morality first, and then I practice generosity later. Since the order is reversed or is not done in sequential order, so therefore both practice will not be done well. So Bodhisattva Shantideva has mentioned about we need to practice in sequential order. So similarly, when we talk about sutra and tantra as well, so some people may think that tantra is very powerful, so therefore I should focus on tantra, and then I put sutra aside. So if you were to think that, even though you have the thought striving for such practice, even though in general it's good, however, since you mistake the order to be practiced, so since you reverse the order to be practiced, then no matter how you engage in those practices, then at the end you will end up with your sutra practice. There is no foundation at all, and then your tantric practice have no foundation as well. So if we know the order of practicing, if we know the order of practice, then as it says in verse 44, so he says there will thus be no increase in the secondary afflictions and afflictions as well. So the reason why, if we practice practice in sequential order, it will not cause our afflictions and secondary afflictions to increase. Is because we know the practice of order properly, mistakenly, and as it is. So by practicing the order of the practice, by engaging in the practice in sequential order, unmistakenly, as it is, then it will not cause any increase in our afflictions and our secondary afflictions as well. Next outline is guarding against degeneration, and under this outline, there's one division. There's one subdivision is called guarding the precepts of the body against degeneration. Sorry, under the outline guarding against degeneration, there are two subdivisions. The first subdivision is guarding the precepts of the body against the degeneration. And under this subdivision, again, there are three subdivisions. Then the first subdivision is not falling under the control of distraction. And under this outline is verse 45. It says, if I engage in a variety of senseless talk or in many kinds of spectacular shows, I should abandon attachment towards them. And the meaning of this verse is, I should not engage in a variety of senseless talk, such as talk about the king, thieves, and robbers. And besides that, then we talk about our country, politics, and so forth, or in many kinds of spectacular shows, such as song, dance, performance, and so forth, movies, and so forth. And if I do engage in them for some purpose or for others, I should abandon attachment to them. So when we engage in those activities, those senseless talk, those talk about shows, performance, dance, and so forth, we go and watch a show and so forth, then usually it will cause our mind to be distracted. So, and here is not asking you not to go. So, but if you were to go to those performance, song, dance, or engage in those activities of talking about thieves, king, and so forth, then we should engage in those activities without any attachment. So, if you have a purpose to go to those activities or to engage in those activities, then engage in them or go to those performances and so forth without attachment or through abandoning. You should go through abandoning your attachment. So in general, when we talk about these activities and these activities of senseless talk and going for show and so forth, then it will usually it will cause our attachment to arise. And when attachment arises, then it will induce bias to arise as well. You will induce bias. So bias is you attach to one side and you have anger towards the other side. So it will cause a bias or biased thought to arise. And due to that, then we will other afflictions such as pride, anger, jealousy, and so forth will arise as well. So therefore, if you need to go, if you have a purpose to go, then you go without attachment. Next outline is abandoning meaningless deeds. So under this outline is verse 46. It says, if for no reason I dig the earth, cut grass, draw patterns in the earth, and the like, then recalling the advice of the Sukhatas, I should immediately stop out of fear. So the meaning of this verse is, if even someone who is not a fully ordained monk, so even a lay person, they shouldn't dig the earth. So don't mention those fully ordained person. So they shouldn't dig the earth for sure. So cut grass, draw patterns in the earth, and the like for no reason. So here he's talking about for no reason, you shouldn't dig the earth, cut grass, draw patterns in the earth. So if there is a reason, if there is a purpose of doing so, then one is allowed to do so. And also the fault of engaging in those activities is smaller as compared to doing the same thing for no reason. So then recalling the advice of the Sukhatas, and he should immediately stop out of fear of their drawbacks. So recalling the advice of the Sukhatas, we should think about the advice of the Sukhatas, such as the training in morality. Then when we talk about training in morality, then we think about vows such as Bodhisattva vows and so forth. So through recalling the advice such as Bodhisattva vows, then we should immediately stop out of fear of their drawbacks. So here he's talking about if you engage in those activities for no reason, it will cause harm to oneself and to others. Next outline is examining the motivating thought when performing actions. So under this outline is verse 47. So under this outline, then there are three divisions. The first one is indication, the second one is explanation, and the third one is summary. Then the first subdivision is indication. So under this subdivision, is verse 47. It says, whenever I have the desire to move or to say something, first of all, I should examine my mind, and then with steadiness, act in the proper way.
당보 리기 접발은 주어는 루바 진세 가른도 나기 마와라 루바 진세 가른도 당보들 접바시 해로 와 그러와 리가 그 접바니 먼저 비고는 당보 리가 그 접반 주야 대바 시로 와 근데 대바 여바 나시 대마다 리가 샤와들 나사 마제로 나사 리기 접바 리기 접견 나사 마제스 나가 나사 마마스 당보때 마야기 진세다 리기 접바는 주야 진세 가르에 데이터 바시 해서 그러와 대 잡아 따바치네 대 따바치네 대 네비 원도 누군도 못도 라헬라 네비 네바지 원도 누군도 못도 어때 딜타니 뜬 주당이 받아 네바지 그래서 와 네비 원도 못는 주 받아 네비 원도 누군도나 내가 도 받지 샤고 그래서 이래 도고 그래서 아 대상 당고 그때 라제야 보시고도 왜내서다 그래서 랑사 소소 세네 지켜봐 유지켜봐 지 샤워 가는 주바 지오니 랑사 상처를 맞아 만지봐 세나 깨자 시작이 되고 지레 랑사 깨자 시에 맞아 맞지 시에 그거 진짜 가는도 여기 샤워들은 주에 이거 진짜 가는도 예발 사고도가 예와 사고도가 간디 요거도 그저 줘 봤지 뭐가 별라져 쉬고래 와
So the meaning of this verse is, whenever I have the desire to move my body or to say something, again, first of all, I should examine my mind, and then, without coming under the influence of afflictions, act with steadiness in the proper way according to the procedures. So sometimes, whenever we have the desire to move our body, to say something, or to engage in any kinds of bodily actions, then before we actually doing that physical actions or the verbal actions, we should first examine our mind. So whether is there a reason for doing so, or is there a purpose of doing so, whether through that action will I accumulate merits or not, or whether through that actions will I harm myself and others or not, and whether it will become a fault or not. So we should first examine our mind. So whether that will become whether it will follow, whether there is any consequences of doing so or not, or whether it will bring forth a good result or not. So if and through this examination, then if it will bring forth a good result, then we engage in those activities. And if it's not going to bring any good results, but those negative results of faults or going to harm oneself and others and so forth, then we abandon those actions. Next outline is what to do when there is desire to generate affliction. And under this outline is verse 48. It says, whenever there is attachment in my mind, and whenever there is the desire to be angry, I should not do anything nor say anything, but remain like a piece of wood.
이도 뭐라 구도 지한테 봐 대이랑사 이 지스 구도 대 지스 먼저 다 대라 한다로와 이 님보 희도보 처분하지 님보지 땡보 정도네 대 손에 대와도 만도 님바샤 리체불 해서 땡보지 님바와 랑사베 이도 뭐라 차바지네 대지스 도 와이 봐 이도 뭐라 당와 김 대지스 랑산도 와이 봐 좋아 미지 내가 저 데이트는 랑사 대라파 님보지 상관에와 다 잡아라 부두가 나서 봐. 와, 이도 뭐라 당황하다. 네,想받아. 세바나서. 이게 내 못해 봐. 희동고 때문에 봐 나시지. 이게 내 도바 잡고 했어.
So the meaning of this verse is same as the advice or the training as mentioned just now. So the meaning of this verse is whenever there is attachment in our mind, and whenever there is the desire to get angry, I should not do any bodily action nor say anything verbally, but be able to rely upon the antidote and remain like a piece of wood. So whenever we feel like when we have the desire to get angry or to be attached to something, so in relation to those beautiful things or pleasant things or attractive things, so when the desire to be attached to it, and whenever there is desire to get angry towards things that we find unattractive, unpleasant, and so forth, then we should not immediately engage in the bodily actions or engage in the verbal actions. So another way of saying this is we shouldn't subsequently engage in those actions after the desire to get angry or to be attached. So what we should do is we should apply antidotes. So we should apply the antidotes like what is mentioned in the verse. It says we should remain like a piece of wood. So we do not engage in those actions, and we should remain like a piece of wood. And then we apply antidotes towards anger, for example, in particular to anger. Then we cultivate loving kindness, and we generate patience, and so forth.
와이 삼바다 가디 쫀지 르메 삼 그세 삼스와 이제 삼 간세 감세 다테 플레바 쳔나 메바 니다네 희진제다 제들바 이제 힘이 멤버샤세 이쇼로가 니도와 어딘마 이쇼이와.
Next outline is what should I do when there is excitement and so forth. So under this outline is two verses, verse 49 and verse 40 and 50. So verse 49, it says, whenever I have excitement, the wish to verbally belittle others, pride and arrogance, when I have the thought to describe the faults of others, cunningness and the thought to deceive others, whenever I'm eager for praise or have the desire to blame others, whenever I have the wish to scold and quarrel, at such times I should remain like a piece of wood.
ngāgi yīgī jī yē rindē jī sāmbā rwa, tā yē rindē jī sāmbā, tēnī ngāgi jōndrī tēnī sāmbā jī bā rwa, yē rindē jī sāmbā, tā gādī yīndē jī kēpī ngā jīs rwa, yīndē jī kēpī ngā jīs, tā ngā jīs wā tā kāndā sōsō tā kāndā ndē rwa, sēn kēmbā jī, tā shē rē pē, hāchāng pē, sōsō shē yīndē rāni hāchāng thāpa rwa, ngā jīs wā tō rāngi yīndē mā wā, nzēdū mā wā, wōngjē mā wā, 또래 가지들 찍어 와 가지서 가지들 지에 와 어디 가지 지에 가지 다 들리지다 다 왕소소 잡아서 나서 잡아서 가지네데 세 캠바 집어 했어 가자다 잡아서 가지네 와다 잡아대 가르스나 소소 그나 왕소 때 하창이 쉬고요 세 캠바 소소 만다 가리 때 수고 있나다 양소 가리지나 최시 소소 수고 최시 가리지나 하장 때 이동 와서 민재 와서 빼가라 쉬비요 상사 된지기 때 데라 잡아로 와 잡아 생겨 받아 닉스티 잡아다 다 인지 창도와 상바 때 인나 간다 쥐지도 양와 이제 시고로 이나 쥐와 근데 쥐지도 간다 다 이나 근데 상발로 오라 근데 초모지비 계속 요지다 다 요지 괜찮아 근데 세요 세다 그 관계세 윤디 지비고네 소소 하장 되봐 따라 당와 근데 윤디 그 간다 나라 되봐 하장 때 앞에 신이 마도나 신이 토야도도 공부니 마도는 돈이 토야도도 장주 세지가 맞는 제도도 리리베 윤디 제봐 이 신나 쥐지야 좋아 다 신나 쥐지보다 메라도 가서 구한대 봐 근데 로아 근데 저 저바도 저바 데이체 다 데이체 다 님보 다 저라 봐 님보 장수 두 가지 로아 근데 깔라 다 님보 장수 두 가지 때고 해서 다 님보 장수 두 가지 맞이나 다 저거도 판 로바이나 야로 로바이나 앞에 rangi 니가라 내 전부 찍으려 해서 내 전부 찍으려 해서 근데 깔라 다 간다 님보 란자 두 번, 뭐요 신기도 님바 샤오로도 님보 란수 두 번로 란자 두 번서 님보 란수 두 번. 이와면 봐 신동보 전부 나시때 농의 위저 담아둬야 신동보 전부도 농 위저 내가 부담 두고 말아 뭐 대나시 란수 두 번이 두 번이 제거래 해서 님보 드리시 때문에 해서 뭐다 드리시 드리가라 님보 때만 두 번이나 아 코즈기 쇼라 너네 내 영화도 너 번이나 내배 간다 아 등이 유명한 때 전부 마루바 샤오 마루바 쉬고 싸움 그래서 그러 샤오 마루바 쉬고 잘 그래서 그러 뭐다 드리스 빌라자 들어 그 버스 기타 중에 제에서 나서 임바 한번 넘어가기 버지
So the meaning of these two verses is whenever I have the excitement that is exhilarated about objects. So when we talk about excitement, especially in the context of come abiding, so we have discussed about excitement again and again. So then so when we talk about this excitement is included within the category of attachment, and it causes our mind to draw outwards. So it draws our mind outwards. So the wish to verbally belittle others through jest, puff up pride and arrogance on account of my youthfulness and so forth. So puff up pride or inflated pride, arrogance, haughtiness and so forth. And due to my, in terms of youthfulness, in terms of wealth, in terms of good qualities, in terms of beauty, good-looking appearances, and so forth. And then when I have the thought to describe the faults of others, so when you want to describe the faults of others, you want to dig out, you want to find out the faults of others. And cunningness, that is calculating the disposition due to discontentment, and the thought to deceive others with deceit and dissimulation. So whenever I'm eager for praise by means of descriptions of my excellent qualities, so when I'm eager for praise, then, for example, even though I do not have the good qualities, but I pretend to have one. Like for example, I have not attained calm abiding, but I pretend to have attained calm abiding already, similar to the realizations of emptiness. And similarly, if I have not generated in my continuum bodhicitta, but I pretend to have already generated bodhicitta in my continuum. So at that time, I should remain like a piece of wood without wavering from being able to be self-sufficient with regards to the antidote. So it means that we need to apply antidotes. And then it says from being able to be self-sufficient with regards to the antidote means that we should remain like a piece of wood and is unmoved by any other such conditions. So like a big tree. So this big tree, even there is a strong wind, it will not easily moved by this strong wind, right? So similarly, we should remain like a piece of wood and not affected and shouldn't be affected by these afflictions and so forth. And if we were to fall under the control of these afflictions, then you will bring harm to oneself and others, then due to which then we accumulate merits and it will bring forth the result of suffering and so forth. Next outline is what to do when I desire, gain, honor, and so forth. And under this outline is verse 51. It says, Wherever I desire material gain, honor, or fame, wherever I seek servants or a retinue, and when in my mind I wish to be served, at these times I should remain like a piece of wood.
ngara tamba chang laba chang dena yopo yoma samadi tata shajina deji yona san debachi wa ni juna san debachi wa tape ko mambo te da yipe hachang pe rangi nekoso ngara kamba tuwa da support tuwa da sama tindi pe pisunso pa tindi ngara pe tindi chuna changa ngara pe deba kan jemba tindi chuna asa deba jiba deitselo wa kan jemba sama pe tindi chuna sa deba deitse That is a number thing. She did a number so to never chago. That is someone nemo. Yata, Tanda, Sawani, Luma to it. That's a Hatan Yamachi because she will. That and that the Dangaso, Choshin member, Danga Chambo. Danga Chambo is somebody who chambo, Chibi said that and that did it. Danga Chambo. The Karina, the Chumba say, the son of the Apache never enough. Or that and Jigumundu Sadi, and did the Digi and Jigumuriza Tetelapa. Then Yamboya Pojitini, that was say the temple, they want the Madua, say the temple need to watch Chabore, as Hindu Hidroa, that's the Hindu Pish, Amadua, need to watch Chabore, as that did it.
The meaning of this verse is whenever I desire material gains such as wealth, honor, high seed, good food, good clothing, respect from others, veneration from others, and we a desire for praise and so forth. So the fame or good reputation and so forth. So when I desire to seek servants or retinue, so when we desire these services from them, then we have this thought. We have this thought that I just lie in my bed, and then these servants they will help me to bathe, to massage, to feed me, and so forth. And this shows that one has great one has fall under the control of greediness and do not have any contentment. So and the like, at this time I should remain like a piece of wood. So when greediness arises, when a discontentment arises, then we should realize that, then we should see the faults in it, and then we should with a steady mind, remain like a piece of wood. So with a steady mind, remain like a piece of wood means that we do not fall under their control.
Janala mi yonzo samari narana pe miri gomo chega mozangalo gomo chega miri ngal gomo chega tena kron들 pe shida kangi umares ngal gomo chega mi kanga ngal gomo chega jite baina mozangalo wara pesha ngaju miri jite baina ngashi go chara
공납주
뭐 빼가 제가 간다 고모 체가라 고모 찌머라 이 제발에 미들라 고모 체가디 빼가 지고 코나칸 바 그냥 너무 말했어 나 참아 이제 때는 나 주고 차는 거 누구지 근데 저는 나 내가 이제 다 되다 숨어들 리그로 와 근데 저는 빼가 주고 차는 거 누구서 근데 쳐서 미시가 근데 나고 뭐지 와 다 되나시로 나 이번 년부터 그들아서 마음을 될 빼자
So in relation to this a desire for material gain, wealth, honor, and so forth, then Geshe-la I would like to share a short story. So from where I came from, so there was a funny person who always told jokes and so forth. So this person said that if in the whole country, if everyone gives me 50 cents, so and it will not cost a fortune to the person, but it will make me a wealthy man. So this is like a short story Geshe-la would like to share in relation to this desire for material gain, wealth, and so forth.
Shantideva simple chita shawa sirwa. That Shantideva simple chita shawa. Shantideva yawan do wata randi niwa do bata mawa de sechina decision ni ba shawa se. That shulo chindwa ni.
Next outline is, what should I do when thinking about the welfare of others? Under this outline is verse 52. It says, whenever I have the mind wishing to neglect the welfare of others and to pursue my own welfare, wishing to say something, at these times I should remain like a piece of wood.
Rangi tena seode da yingi ten duba da pa yawato rangi ten mashi ten da newa rangi ten dubu yin sa ndigi sang tone de ngamawa deba ta ndigi stemba chumba ina de kanza ten de samba nashi de je su mando ba che samba nashi kanza de je su mando ba de hindu ji ne gore a tanda duya la kari dugo de je su mando ba ran yawato ne yin je ban ji gore es wa ran yawato ne yin je ban ji gore Jean Chebanzi ye yawan samba chumbaina ade samba yabu mare est wa denga so chunyane che samba mare chusona lina den chumbu yabu mare wa chusona timo Jean Chibu che wa samba tambaina ni che yabu yabu mare wa odi.
So the meaning of this verse is, whenever I have the mind wishing to neglect the welfare of others and to pursue my own welfare, and there is the mind that wishes to say something at this time, being able to rely upon the antidote, I should remain like a piece of wood. So whenever we have the thought, thinking that I wish to neglect the welfare of others and I want to accomplish my own welfare only. So or thinking about only have concern for my own welfare. So when this thought arises, then we shouldn't follow the thought. We shouldn't pursue the thought, but we should remain like a piece of wood. And on top of that, we should apply the antidotes, which is cherishing others and discarding the purposes, discarding the welfare of oneself.
Da dijela da chowa da shungba son de bichi kita chawa si birwa da sin chowa da shungba son de bichi kita chawa se da mesile lo jipa da de shin chu to mu jo da rangi choshi senjo na de se shin ne ba cha se da de chulo ga jinu de ma di shwens.
Yeah, so we should cherish others and neglect the welfare of oneself. So then under next outline is, what should I do when there is desire to get angry, feel discouraged, and so forth? So under this outline is verse 53. It says, whenever impatience, laziness, fear, and likewise shamelessness or the talking of nonsense and thoughts of partiality arise, at these times too, I should remain like a piece of wood.
Da kanda digi tenda dere wa chowa da kanda digi tenda da karisina da gosunji gewada shende dubirwa gosunji gewada shende dubirwa da lingwa yusunga rwa da lingwa yusunga gewada shende dubi tka cheta dunga la semu duba wa gosunji pe wa shende gewada shende dubala da ka cheta dunga la museba da Giwa Dubala, Mutu Vilelo, Wankiwa, Mutu Vilelo. The Giwa Dubala, Solan Jipata. The Deshindo, Wombo, Go Madame Barwa, also the Wombo, the Mentichu Wanda, Roma Chiba, Chema Tubarwa, Wombo Go Madame. The Kanda, Sudan Muntibi, whomever, dreaming, the Kesha, Rama the Ship. Sudan Muntibi Jarda, Sudan Muntibi, dreaming Kesha. 다 라게라 펜도 가게 메죠. 와 펜도 가게 메죠. 닌 제메기 이장 뭐 좀. 그 랑게 쇼라 하장 힘바. 랑게 쇼라. 와 니에서라 하장 힘바죠. 와 힘바죠. 힘바죠. 디세. 힘바죠. 디세와 디세 내가 다 주의. 내뭐 손에 이 힘도시는 내가 잡고 해서 다 소리는 와. 안다. 너도 들으셔.
So the meaning of this verse is, so wherever anger and impatience and suffering and the like, fear of accomplishing virtue and so forth due to the force of laziness, there is unenthusiastic about virtue, and likewise shameless impudence due to being daringly thick-skinned, talk of irrelevant nonsense, thought of partiality, graspings of friends, and so forth arise. So here, basically, it talks about whenever we feel angry, or whenever we have this impatience at suffering. So impatience at sufferings means that we are unable to patiently accept the hardships and sufferings when we accomplish the welfare of others, when we engage in the virtue of the three doors, and when fear and laziness of accomplishing virtue arises, then, and when we engage in activities of talking about irrelevant nonsense, that is those speech that is not going to bring any benefits to anyone, then, and when we have this partiality grasping at our side, such as our friends and beloved ones and so forth, then at this time, then we should apply the antidotes. We should remain like a piece of wood. So next outline is summary. Under this outline is verse 54. It says, having in this way examined his mind for afflictions and for thoughts that strive for meaningless things, the hero should hold his mind steady by means of the antidotes. Yep. So the meaning of this verse is, having in this way examined my mind for afflictions and thoughts that strive for meaningless things, without engaging in negative activities, I should hold my mind steady through antidotes that are like a powerful hero. So we should examine our mind. So when afflictions such as anger and attachment arise, then we should examine our mind. And those thoughts that strive for meaningless things, then we should also examine that those thoughts, whether it will bring forth a good result or not. So a good result or not. So when we realize that it is not going to bring us any good result or any good result or positive result, then we should not engage in those activities. Yeah. So next outline is guarding with individual antidote. Under this outline is verse 55. It says, being very resolute and faithful, steady, respectful, polite, with a sense of shame, fear, and pacification, I should strive to make others happy.
工作送的那些念出了看到给把的一切马些吧马些吧呢说了一切马些吧他看到呢他说也说了吧其实结吧呢那说了上了当是上了我当年小年把的真的你这不都叫啥呢你这个没多上都说让了就这些上了当的那得了这我当小年把的我他的工作了工作说的那些念出了但一切的给把的他都给把上了是吧你马些吧呢马几百呢？那问他的，你这个门路上，那说让军事的经历，有的说你结果了，反正吧去，是吧？你吧，我这些吧去，但我这些吧，是吧？你这里我这些吧结果路，但我这结果就马几百呢？那就说了看到，你工作是那把的，原地接的，那强就是么了呢？这个说了这里看到，是吧？把其实结吧呢？说这里结吧呢？那你肯定就。是吧？你这不考虑有问题。说了，结把钱呢，已经搞完些把了，这么强不的，甚至于搞完些把了看到，你就这么结果的嘛多，我说了，我这边把吃年吧，你钱呢，那你个嘛没事看到是吧？我这边把吃年吧是，你看到，然后经济的钱呢，你把人这个我这些吧是要的，然后经济吃要把是要的，也经济的，我这哪就吃要的，我这里给些习惯了吧？吃要我这时候呢，然后经济的钱呢，我这些吧，我这些吧，吃要说的，也经济的钱呢。这个就不是吧？我你说的，那等到这边搞了的，有点容易是吧？然后这些，但你把人这么去，有这些问题也是，是吧？这个结果也是，那对的。
So the meaning of this verse is, if I guard my mind in this way, being very resolute due to abandoning doubts and wrong consciousnesses regarding the objects of training, faithful due to having conviction and clear and wishing faith regarding the three jewels and objects of training. So we should be very resolute due to abandoning doubts and wrong consciousness with regard to objects of training. So we should abandon doubts and wrong consciousness about those objects of training, and then we should develop faith in the faith due to having convictions, clear and wishing faith. So we should develop this faith of conviction, clear faith, and wishing faith regarding the three jewels and the objects of training. So we also learn about the eight qualities, those three jewels that possess eight qualities and so forth, bodhisattvas and the objects of training. So we should develop faith. And then steady in thoughts and action, respectful, polite, and bowing to all. And then with a sense of shame due to shying away from misdeeds on account of oneself. So with a sense of shame, so due to shying away, so shying away is you avoiding misdeeds on account of oneself. So we have learned about shame and embarrassment, right? So shame is avoiding misdeeds on account of oneself, and embarrassment is avoiding misdeeds on account of others. So here it talks about with a sense of shame, then due to shying away, so it means avoiding those misdeeds on account of oneself. Fear of the friction by contemplating the drawbacks. So we should think about the faults of those negative actions, and if we negative actions due to those. If we were to fall under the control of those afflictions, and we should also think about the suffering result or the suffering fruition, and then we should strive to make others happy, the objects of purpose happy. Under the same outline is verse 56. It says, I shall not be disheartened by the whims of the childish who are in discord with one another. I should be merciful, thinking these minds of theirs is due to the generations of afflictions.
된다 마부도야 파지 신지 찌라 펜다디 찌페 코노산에 코나서 무티바 가와 자치부 들리시고도 다 들리나 다 신지 마부지 장에 되바 들리지라 다 간다 간디지페 전 제주 상사 들리게 셈바지와다 슈바 마지에서 슈바지야 요 말에서와 근데다는 들리지야다 커서 들리지야다 니무 찌페 정랑 라오메 바다기 신데 중이 니무다 타와 샤오는 고슬라 민지의 세와 된 거라면 코나서 빈지 들리기로 핑지 공부당 아재 들이 제바데 니무가 되려도 마다 코나한테 배대래 뭐 코나한테 진짜 코나한테 니무들이 가서 코나한테 니 제와가 제와가 된바 제와 지사 들이 ren도 마도 그것도 공부다 무기 받들이 제가 뭐 요새 다소 소리는 상호 비슷한 거에서 와 세시 뭐 맞지 알아니 니무하다 뭐 가지고 그래서 된다 와
So the meaning of this verse is, I should not be disheartened by contradictions in the whims of behavior of the childish who are in discord with each other, such that when one benefits someone, another generates anger. So this is quite common in our society, and especially if you have been to Bodhgaya before, then you may have experienced this. So there are a group of there are many beggars around the Bodhgaya area. So they came and asked for some money. Then if you were to give to one, and then you make one happy, the one that received your money, then he will be happy, and the one that didn't get your money then will be in anger. So then you are helping one, and at the same time you make another angry. So when this happened, that I should be merciful, thinking that when this happened, then I shouldn't be disheartened. So I shouldn't be disheartened, and rather I should be merciful. I should develop a compassion towards them, thinking that these minds of theirs arises powerlessly due to the generations of afflictions. May they be free from afflictions. So the person who gets angry at me when I did not benefit the person, then we should be merciful and thinking that it is not the fault of that person, because this person is powerless. He is controlled by afflictions. So in fact, it is the fault of afflictions.
romeba chibi senja debi jewo hasarwa dagi diso nyimu romeba franz mare nyimu romeba jebar sarwa dado nyimu banagi romeba chibi senja debi jewo dela chanju simbabe neba jewo neba zing mare simba jewo dela neba zing mare franz ji nyimu ba deres neba jige sandigi franz ji nyimu ba dere mato sinje franz ni jewa 제사래 마도 franz 주 mare franz 주 mare franz 주 mare 하나 라면에 대왕의 로아스가 데레스 이무데레 마도 하나 주 마레스 노디지스 송도아.
So Maitreya's ornament of Mahayana Sutra says, due to the mind always committing misdeeds powerlessly, the intelligent do not hold beings as faulty. So exactly as the explanation just now. So the person who persons in whose mind those afflictions are present, then they are controlled by these afflictions. So therefore, they are not the object to be blamed. So the intelligent will not hold those beings who are controlled by those afflictions as faulty. Rather, those intelligents will hold those afflictions present that is present in their continuum as faulty.
아들이안자데 시작하게 눈이 장우조하게 사람들과 초안 준비 소화라 멤버 투가 미바다 투가 너무 드시지 너무 단데 가서 미세 어디 소도와 다디 된다 가서 와서나 막 디디라게 와 나서베 다 네바 카시로와 네바 카시라 간다 네바 카시라 다 멤버가 때 가서 나도 더 될 메치체 메치 그렇지만 네바때 간다 중국 네바야 되게 와 시게 중국 되게 네바야 되게 든디시 파 네바들 멤버가 야고 가지지 메제바이나 아 네바되게 쳇배 컨트롤되네 또 컨트롤되네 나는 부자 때문에 슈바라서 봐 드리체와지 다 드리체오데 코 만단 주비 네바와 드리체고면서 멤버 투방 말이 멤버가 메제와다 콜 로바 집어 투바 마레스 로아 멤버 투바 마레스 다 멤버 투바 마레 코랑 중부 내바 왕에 파 내바 네세 액치 멤버 로바 집어이나 그도스 두자시야 두자시야 코랑 간다 중부 내바 왕에 됐어레스 얘래 마도 간다 다 상지 존리데 두바게 니무바 드라시거리 니무바데 드라리마도 니무단데 간사데 드라마레스 니무반데 간사게 찌마레 니무바데 드라 시바레 니무단데 간사데 찌마레스 다 고산존리데 됐어마레스 다 내가 나지로 멤버 투바 마레스 내 내가 그런 게 멤버스 콜 내바데 그런 거 내바 중국 내바 대왕게 됐어 좋아 내바 대왕게 또 그런 거 아야 보지나 스두자시에 드레스 그래서 내 멤버가 좀 마레스 마레스 어다데 얘나시 또 상지 존리데 니무그 드라스 니무그 드라스 시바레마도 니무단데 간사데 좀 마레스 니무단데 간사데 좀 마레 간사데 가서 간사 니저와다 니 이제서 저와 제사게 그래서 너서로와 너서 다 마레스 다 지난 가서 드라스 와니 마레 가서 된지 다데 수수 다는 지리나 가서 용다 네 수수로 마가 다 슈로 거와 다다로 뭐니 지시나 다 차고요 마다 다치 대체와도 민지체에서 차는 거야. 다도 원이 전에 고랑지 용은 거대로 와. 오다디 연락을 하고 같이 되래. 다 가서 이제 대비자라 또 생긴 지고 말아. 나서 내 뭐가 쓸라고 말아.
And also in Ayadeva's 400 stanzas, it says, just as a doctor does not fight with patients who are possessed by spirits, even though they are angry, so the Muni sees the afflictions, not the person who are involved with the afflictions. So in this, in the 400 stanzas, and it says a doctor does not fight with the patients who are possessed by spirits, even though they are angry. So because these patients are possessed by spirits, so therefore they have no control over themselves. So even though if they show blackface to the doctors, or even they beat the doctors who is trying to help them, then the doctor will not get angry at the patients. So then the Muni sees the afflictions, not the persons who are involved with the afflictions. So means that Muni, or subduer of Buddha, so sees the afflictions as the enemy and not the person who are involved with the afflictions as enemy. So when we talk about it in our generally, when we talk about enemy, then we do not think about the actual enemy is in fact the afflictions, right? So when we identify, or when we say, someone is our enemies, then we say that, that person is our enemy. We do not immediately think that, we do not immediately identify or realize that the actual enemy is the afflictions, the afflictions that is trying to control the persons. So in fact, the actual enemy is the afflictions, not the person who are involved with those afflictions or who are under the control of those afflictions. So why? Because when we talk about the persons who are under the control of afflictions, they are the objects of compassion. Next outline is common antidote. Under this outline is verse 57. It says, having control over that which is actually not misdeeds in myself and other sentient beings, I should always hold my mind like an emanation without an eye.
maybe that Jimba the Tibetan Buddhist Shira, the being a bonana, she did to be chetua. That Jimba the Tibetan is so pagitula. She's a pagitula, and that what he did to be chet Jubanas, that he did do it in Jubana, the Kanda and Jubana, the Darani, Minyamba, said, or Minyamba Sinji Hina, they got a tattoo painted to as you yes, they got a tattoo painted to on the shin in Jubu, yes, you are killing Jubu, tattoo painted to be chet in Jubu, yes, what. 다 비디오 치워이자 내가 하나 돼 빌로도 돈이도 비실이 비디오 두라라 그 돈이도 비실이 심비권에 그 주마다 주박에 샤와시바 힌도 내가자다 나세미 바랑이 이 다도 중앙지 잡고 예스 들어와 이제 우리가 간다 주비기 집에 샤와시바 힌도 오라 주마다 주마다 그도와 특별히 집이 샤워실 받는도 뜻다도 신데 뜻다가 시선은 맞아다 개세를 걸어 맞아다 내가 신방해 봐 옷을 봐 근데 거는 네모 네모 때 뜻다도 주고 저거래 해세 이래도
So the meaning of this verse is engaging in virtuous qualities that are without natural nor stipulated misdeeds. So these two misdeeds, another translation for this is wrong by nature and wrong by prohibition. So in this text, then is translated as natural misdeeds and stipulated misdeeds. So we should engage in virtuous activities that are without natural nor stipulated misdeeds. So the purpose of which is to be empowered over myself, not degenerating and benefiting other sentient beings. So when we benefit others, when we engage in virtuous activities in order to benefit other sentient beings, then we should we think about benefiting other sentient beings then, in short term and in long term as well. So accomplish their temporary and ultimate purpose. So I should always hold my mind steady by means of being conjoined with the wisdom realizing emptiness without pride and arrogance, as though creating illusions and emanations. So when we engage in those virtuous activities, then we should engage in those without misdeeds such as pride, arrogance, and so forth. So as though creating illusions and emanations. So it means that it is without pride, without adherence, without arrogance or puff up attitude.
다 올게다 다 녀보 공부라 주의스러워 녀보 공부라 주의스네 진실네 다이 초세 토바 양다 양산네 세계 따고 저라도 뭐요 소화 차세 이도와
Next outline is the Nyembo Gombala de Joy Susan Joy na dia Dati Chia Yitundare.
답에 소소베 내가라고 지야 주침고 지야 저 당조 상태에도 좀 된다시
the Dati Chia Yitunda Marwa, the Joy Cho to the Joa de Tundati Marwa.
녀보 공부라 단데 진짜
Bezun Chia de So next outline is modes of applying ourselves in the cultivations of antidote. And under this outline is verse 58. By thinking again and again that after a long time I have obtained the supreme leisures, thus I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru.
되게 된다 되리라 간다로와 되게 된다 되듯이나 단조 내가와 산에 뭐 도와 단조 내가와 산에 그 세원도 저셔와 세원도 수디네 도와 앞에 이마에 저 자타 뭐라 뭐코미네스 찬 도와 또 뭐코미네라 제니 도와 또 뭐코미네라 제 주의任务 뭐코미네라 그래서 다 와서 도와 뭐코미네라 아니 내 간사지라 간다 나 수신 수신 속에 계좌 도대래 내 간다 단조고 멀리 터 무코비네라 양자 파마지바 단조고 멀리 터봐 도와 단조고 멀리 쳐 내 단조고 멀리 터는데 내 단조고 멀리다 하장에 내가와 내 자친구이마 양네 양도 될라 상다 내 단조고 멀리 자친구들 다 대친구지 누구도 다 대마도나 주선 도구도서 내 딘디기 상다네로와 내 딘디기 상바데 양네 양스네 저저 나시 뭐요 땜보시 소고래 에세 도와 다 뒤진 뭐지라 무코비네 다 무코비네 가서 내와이다 들었어 어다 저러면 주는 거 쉬지 하사와 주는 거 쉬지 하사리 다대 간사지라 간다페 수속 지린다 예잡도 대왕이 나와진 조바치사이 이리지네 다 리데길레오디 다 데리 양자 들어봐 무호베니라 마치바 리자 쳔보지 레오디 다 되게 당조들라 때네 가와다 양다 이 상황이 로아 대청보이바 주고도상 데데리베 상황데 바르람나시 요아메바 템보지 손에 예 상황을 해스들와
So the meaning of this verse is by thinking again and again after a long time that I have attained the supreme leisures with great hardship, that I have attained the leisures and endowments that are of great value and are hard to find, I should hold my mind steady as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. So we should think again and again so that I have a long time had passed. I'll say. So I took rebirth in those states of states without freedom, such as in hell, in hungry ghosts, in animal realms, and so forth. So a long time had passed that I was born there, and a long time had passed. So that means I spent a long time there in those states without freedom, and now due to great hardships and that I have attained these supreme leisures, the supreme leisures, the leisures and endowments, which is the precious human rebirth, that are of great value, difficult to find, precious, and then so we should utilize this precious human rebirth to accomplish great purposes. So I should hold my mind steady, as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. So I should think about the preciousness, how difficult it is to obtain this precious human rebirth, and then I should hold this mind steady, as utterly unshakable as Mount Meru. Next outline is the analogy in illustrating that it is improper to attach to the body or to be attached to the body. So under this outline is verse 59. It says, if mind, you are not made unhappy when this body is dragged here and there and taken away by vultures attached to flesh, then why do you advise so now? So this verse is you are having a dialogue, or actually you are debating with your mind. So it says, if mind, you are not made unhappy when this mind upon death is cut into pieces, is dragged here and there and taken everywhere by those many vultures attached to flesh, then why do you advise or speak so now, saying, do not undergo hardship for the sake of Dharma? So why do you advise or speak so now? So there are many meaning for these Tibetan words, advice. So you can also say that you advise out of caring for this body. So it has the meaning like advice out of caring or out of concern for this body. So, and he says, do not undergo hardship for the sake of Dharma out of attachment for the body. So it's inappropriate to be attached to it. Then you might think that then the Kimzin Tena said they need the same definition or that is also. Yeah, so then the mind says that, the reason is, so then it's in the first two verses of 60. So why do you advise me now to care for this body, or out of attachment for this body? So first two lines of verse 60, it says, holding this body as mine, why mine do you guard it so? So because of holding this body as mine, then it creates all sorts of undesirables.
대고 칠래 지기 샤세 다들 해리 앉아 팔래래 와 근데 that's 라니 앞에 내가 고그레에서 이때 나랑 고그레에서 러바이나 나 도바라 저 도바랑 거라 다가 근데 러바이나 최단데 다 내들라 최단데 니 소소는 대고 칠래 지기 샤세 그냥 뭐 로저기다 원래와 이 최단 린딘들이 소소한 인데 이 최저자 린딘 여도 돈이 그래 니 대상 최 돈도 그래 니데 최대 최라 지기 다그송 가르친 다그송 아래 자신 송아래 그래서 이거 말해서 나 앉아서 놓으러 와. 그 세라고 디파 어디 팔래 한번 넣어디 아니라 고그레에서 아니라 녀 고그레에서 너 봐이나 어디 원래 들어와. 어디
So at first, then you ask the mind, what is the reason for advising so? Then the answer is because I hold this mind, I hold this body as mine, and so forth, right? So then again you ask the mind, then what reason again you advise so? Then the mind says that because it is necessary to me, and under this under this form or these questions, then the relevant verse is the next two lines of verse 60. It says, since you and it are separate, what use can it be to you? So then the answer to the questions said by the mind. So the answer is, since you and this body are separate, because the mind says that, oh, it's necessary to me, then we reply to the mind saying that, since you and this body are separate, you will also quickly discard this body. Similarly, this body will quickly discard you as well. So therefore, of what use can it be to you? So it is inappropriate to hold it as a self or as mine.
간다 리드라 다그즈니 차세지 소고 소아요 말했어 리드 다그즈니 와 지금 다기 다그즈니 진도와 리드라 다그즈니 차세지 소리고 말했어 된다 너도지 와 된다 너도 되다 우리가 어쨌든 리자 전부 소아요 말때 리랑 계셔 말다 리랑 말해 리드라 다그즈니 차세지 소리고 말했어 된다 너도 돼 와.
So the meaning is not saying that, or you shouldn't take care of this body at all. You shouldn't guard this precious body at all. So the meaning is, it is inappropriate to hold this body as mine and guard this body out of attachment. So this is the actual meaning of this verse. So it's not telling you not to guard your body or not to protect your body at all, but rather is telling you not to guard your body, having held it as mine and guard it out of attachment.
리드라 다그즈니 차세지 소리고 말해서 예수 머리 성당이 나치 예매게 상례우리 벤치와 마다 발로 잖아 이된다요.
So it is inappropriate to help to hold this mind, to hold this body as mine and guard it out of attachment, right? So this point is also telling us to contemplate on the point that this body will die. It's just the time of death is uncertain. So this body will die. The time of death of this body is uncertain. So basically, it's telling us to contemplate on the points of death and impermanence.
어디야 내려오도 알레다 몸이 지지시 시주 정말 좀 멋있어 맞아 초지 중국인데 je peux son de 지시 좀 무세 다들 자와데 이리와 레디 들어와 레디 잡고도 아 간다 그런 생이 되게 자시로와 이득이 배 인간이 배 이름 뭐 다도 좋아 손살에 다 돌이 그 말에 해서 질러니 다파 이들 파 내려고 와
Next outline is meditating on the body as unclean. So under this outline, again, the mind says that I have hold this. The mind says I have hold this body as mine or as self for a long time already. So therefore, it's inappropriate for me to discard it. So to answer these questions, or to answer to this saying of the mind, then the answer is in verse 61. It says, "Why, confused mind, do you not hold onto a clean wooden form? Just what is the point of guarding this rotting machine that is a collection of filth?" So the meaning of this verse, there is answer to what the mind said, is why mind that has confused that which is selfless as being self, or as having a self, holding the filth to be self. Do you not hold on to a clean wooden form, thinking I? So just what is the point of guarding this putrid rotting machine that has gathered unclean substances that is a collection of filth? So the meaning of, so the answer to this, to what the mind said is, so it is improper to attach to the body. So he's telling the mind that it is improper to attach to the body. So we are saying, so here it says, you keep hearing that, it is improper to guard this body. Then you might think that, I mean, previously we also mentioned that, previously we said that this body is so precious, so difficult to find, so is of great value, then upon which then we can achieve the state of enlightenment. Then why now we are saying that it is inappropriate to guard this body? So we should understand that the saying, the phrase is improper to guard this body, we should understand that it refers to, it is improper to guard this body out of attachment for no purpose. So this is the meaning that is trying to, that is expressing here. So if we were to guard this body out of attachment for no purpose, then we will fall into, then we will become biased. Then we'll, so we will fall into bias of attachment and anger. So we will fall into the bias of attachment and anger. So therefore, we should, how do we guard this body? So we should guard this body in order to extract the essence out of it, in order to accomplish the welfare of others. Then this is how we should guard this body. And the way of regarding this body is extensively explained in the Compendium of Training.
다디오라 리라 차다 차신이 또 답이 뭐 중세자 내가 아신도와 다디마 시오디 토모 빠비 림반데 장글리 타디치 샤야지 이 자와레 제럼 성지 비도 치스 다디도 다디마 디디셔.
Next outline is there is not the slightest essence that can be examined after separating the body into parts. So under this outline is verse 62. It says, first of all, mentally separate the layers of skin, and then with the scalpel of wisdom, also separate the flesh from the skeletal frame. So basically here he's saying that if we divide our body into parts and if we examine them, so you will not find the slightest essence in this body. So if you separate skins, flesh and blood from the body, then if you examine, then you will find that there is no essence in this body. And next verse, it says, and having split open even the bones, look right down into the marrow. When while examining this, ask yourself, where is its essence? So the meaning of this verse is similar to the previous verse. So first of all, if you were to mentally separate the layers of skin from the other parts of the body, then you will not find the slightest trustworthy essence in the body. So so there is no essence also by separating the flesh from the skeletal frame with the scalpel of wisdom. So it means that if you separate those flesh, skins, bloods and so forth with the scalpel of wisdom, then you do not find any essence in it. So next outline is, it is improper to attach to the essenceless. So under this outline is verse 64. It says, if even when searching with such effort, you see no essence, then why with so much attachment are you still guarding this body now? So the meaning of this verse is, if even when searching for the essence with such effort, you see no essence, then why with so much attachment and adherence are you still guarding this body? So basically, these verses are saying that it is improper to attach to this body. Next outline is the reason why it is improper to attach to the body. And under this outline, again, the mind tried to debate, saying that, but a little adherence to this body is appropriate. So that the mind is trying to argue that, or a little adherence to this body is appropriate, right? So then to answer to this, to what the mind said, is in verse 65. It says, what use is this body to you if its filth is unfit for you to eat, if its blood is not fit to drink, and if its intestines are not fit to be sucked. As second best, it is only fit to be guarded in order to feed the foxes and vultures.
소나는 진지지처럼 와다 샤게스 다 샤다는 그 소로로 와다 샤게 세지 된다 리는 소마리 그래스 뭐 저는 갑자기 통고 말이스 각기 이거 말이스 이치는 뭐 가르쳐 소리 해서 어디래도 가르치는 시험을 다 잡아치고 그래서
So the answer to what might say, so attachment to the body is inappropriate because this body is a heap of filth, is a pile of filth. So what is this body to you? What use is this body to you? So if you can, if it's filth, so if you cannot eat the filth, and if you cannot drink the blood, and if you cannot suck the intestines, then of what use is this body to you? So saying the same point, which is it is inappropriate to attach to the body or to be attached to the body. So if I guard it as second best, that is for one reason, this body is only fit to be guarded in order to feed the foxes and vultures. So referring to those meat eaters, so flesh eaters. So it's only you got this body only for one reason. It is to feed the foxes and vultures.
다들 니들 지인지 빌리는 개와라 거기 봐서 들어와 아마스로와 리는 지인지 개와라 거기 봐서 뭐 쪽이 리는 와셔와 니도세 일단 지지 송자는 지다 찌와 매바이 초대샤다 친신은 로와 이제 지지 지샤였어 이다들에도
So second best, and you got this body is only to feed those foxes and vultures. So then next outline is it is proper to use this body that will be quickly destroyed by death for virtue. So under this outline is verse 66, third line words. It says, this body of a human being should only be put to work. Even though you got it thus, then what will you do when it is stolen by the merciless Lord of Death and given to the birds and dogs?
다 린들랑 모이고는 그 버치야 말 모이고는 모이고는 그거 야 말이야 다 단조 상황도 있다 멀리 탄치를 걸어 단조 상황도 뭐 저기서나 단조 상황도 뭐 탄치지 린들 이 내가 꼬아샤가 되고 해서 이리라 보고 해서 단조 상황도 미기 리탄치를 와 리탄치지 리더 리탄치지 리더 이리라 꼬아 저 지금 그래 해서 이 막고 봐이나 내가 내대도 못 두봐 이 샤로 꼬아긴 내대도 못 두봐 내 체지 송자는 미리 소나 내 가시 소바이나 내 치다 쯔와 치다 쯔와 이거 말이스 와 쯔와 요 말이 있다고 말이스 내 쳐라 미리 초네 내 소다 자와 셰데 샤다 치라 신바나 내 데이체 쳐 가르치기 저 때다 리데다 마다와 시비 니바 중세자 저런 요 말이 치다게 맞춰봐 제 초모 두바 수야기 저 니바 중세자 요 말이스 와 중세자 요 말이스
So the meaning of these lines or these verses, it says, also this body is utterly purposeless by way of its own entity. So saying that the body has no purpose by way of its own entity. However, this body of a human being, which has attained the complete leisures and endowments, the precious human body, so should only be put to work in virtuous actions. So we should use this precious human body with leisures and endowments for virtuous actions. So even though you got it thus without accomplishing the desired goal, so if you got it without accomplishing the desired goal, then what will you do when it is stolen or snatched by the merciless Lord of Death? So Lord of Death has no mercy, has no compassion. So when it comes, then it rendered lifeless and given to birds and dogs. So when it comes, then we have no ability to stop the Lord of Death from coming. So when this merciless Lord of Death comes, then we will face death, and then we will be given to birds and dogs.
就是阿干嘛做嘛多 才会一下多，
那说，
那等于点小人是吧？
那说，
那么是说你嘛，那你有了，反正有了，那点蛮多有了，
那说，
那么是我这个意思。
So we stop here, and Saturday we have a Bodhisattva class again. So we will have another Bodhisattva class on Saturday. So today we stop here.
那给早晚的人都去点把这个多掉，我本身讲个中国这个经济经济当把三十多年时间点把人都不在一个地方，在把这社会的结果人家那个地方都在这那么这个这个东西可以的，其他他们把给你用啊，哪里的来看到，他满足的。你像可以呢，你往西那个可以呢，参考的有的多呀，也是利用的。这里也是呢，这个土地上的地方，上帝就那个有的多，这个地区的话就是那样意思。
We conclude with dedication. We dedicate these roots of virtue to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha's teaching, mainly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live eons long, to have excellent health, and may all their enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all directions. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Geshe Lama Sopa Rinpoche. May Rinpoche's holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously without any obstacle. We also dedicate these roots of virtue to world peace, and may excellent happiness prevail throughout the world. May wars, conflicts, natural disaster, disease, pandemic be pacified immediately. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to those who pass away because of these conditions. May all their negativities accumulated since beginningless time be pacified immediately and quickly achieve the state of enlightenment.
Li Ten Tang Ru Wa Kung La Kang Pe Tang Che Ma Ji Zhen Lo Sang Zhao Ma Yi Ten Pe Ning Bo Rin Do Se Ji Ye Shuo Jiang Ju Sen Zhou Rin Bo Jie Ma Jie Ba Na Ji Ju Ji Jie Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Kong Ye Kong Do Pe Wa Shuo Ba Wei Ji Dang Tian Ba Dang Kong Do Sang Bo De Yang De Xin De De Da Kong Ye Jie Su Da Lo Jie Ge Wa De Da Dang Jie Rab Do Ngo Tong Ye Da Wa Rin Bo Jie Ma Jie Ba Na Ji Ju Ji Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Kong Ye Kong Do Pe Wa Shuo Rin Ye Da Wa Rin Bo Jie Ma Jie Ba Na Ji Ju Ji Jie Ba Nyam Ba Me Ba Yang Kong Ye Kong Do Pe Wa Shuo Nin Jie Sum Du Ju Be Lang Chi Jie Si Zhe Kan Jie De Lue Ren Chan Na Pe Mo Ten Zing Ga Zo La So Wa De So Xin De Le Lu Yo Kan De Pen De Ma Le Ba Kan Le Ju Wei Sam Bei Yi Xin Nu Kan De Zu Men Ten Zing Ga Zo La So Wa De So Tu Jie Le Lu Yo Ken Ba Gen Sen De Rang Zo Lo Sang Jia Wa Yan Se Kyu Ba Jie Ran Chan Xin Ge Kia Yo Ma Lu Be Ten De Men Ba Tu Be Gen Le Zo Yo So Zo Be Tu De Ren Bo Jie Xie Dang Tu Be Ten Den Be Wa Lang Bi Su Zhe Be Go Chan Jin Su Me Jie Zhen La Ma So Wa De Pe De Ma Le Jun Wei Go Jie Bo Jie Me Ten Da Ku Yu Do Wa Yi Ten Na Ji Du Zhen Ma Zhe Lu Lu Lo Bo Xin Ba Chi De Le Ba Tu De Ga Zo Xin La Dang Ge Se Dang Ge Tu Ge La Bo Jie Lu Me De Me Yang Du Sa Be Zun Ge Sang Du Jie Be Do Niu Jie Zhuo Ye Ga Wei Ko Wei Xin Gang De Pen Na De Wa Ma Lu Zhong Wei Nen Che Ye Se Wan Ten Jing Ga Zo Ye Xia Be Si De Fa Du Ten Yu Ji